All right, we are back up. Obviously, we're just going to go straight into it. Obviously, there's going to be about a 15-minute delay, so we apologize for the technical difficulties. Hopefully, we don't have any coming up. But and we can roll into this. But going back to the match sketch and what we were talking about before we were unfortunately interrupted by my technical issues, is the difficulty of this Utah side, right? So obviously, sorry, obviously. One of the tough things is going to be these midpoints for the axis. The procs is obviously way more in favor on WN4 and Chapel, and it's a little bit even on WN7. Definitely a possibility that Vanguarda capture WN7 right off the bat. I mean, Chapel is too, but I mean, you got to play that absolutely perfectly and kind of hope for a little bit of a miracle. But Kale, what are your thoughts on these midpoints for Vanguarda as the axis?
Yeah, I think Chapel is 3AC's biggest chance. If they can play it right, keep their tanks behind the Chapel conservative, and just shell Vanguard's infantry, then that's their best chance. But I think Vanguard is kind of an unstoppable force.
I
That's
know.
I think we've seen when we've seen Vanguard play their tanks, especially their medium tank, hangs back, and they don't
Yes.
need him.
Yep.
Their infantry is so good that they just push on through, and then when the enemy least suspects it, then their medium comes in, kills their medium, and boom, they have everything on the point.
Yeah. Yeah. And
And it's
that's
and
the
that's
tough
that's their
part.
game, and that's their game plan with teams that are equal to them or teams that are they know that they're better than. They follow the same game plan regardless of the opponent, and it's been working well for them so far.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. And I think that one of the things that you got to keep in mind with these with with 3AC is that so far they've kind of struggled on the tank play, right? Like they in Vanguardia. Just watching them, if you didn't get a chance to watch, Vanguardia ended up playing Merc on 49 in a scrim, and when you watch that, on a point like in a way, they were playing on dugout as the midpoint, and Merc
Mm.
obviously started out with the cap as the axis at first, and which is almost kind of feels the same as Chapel in a way, except for the fact that it's on an edge of a map versus the middle. But what did Vanguardia do? They waited patiently, right? So they got their tanks in position, and once they got that first Tiger, they ended up moving 376s in line. Infantry moved in a line. It was absolutely beautiful to watch. It's something that Vanguardia has done incredibly well throughout this tournament. Is their coordination is just absolutely phenomenal. Their line work really well. We saw that when they were playing against 75th. We definitely saw that when they were playing on this exact same map against Ronin. So this is going to be very difficult, very tough for. Okay, perfect. It's going to be very tough for 3AC. But that being said, they do have map advantage, and so really, when we're looking at it, I'm drawing this on the strat sketch, obviously. When you're looking at this, obviously the avenues of approach for Vanguard is going to be through that south complex, right? So south of Chapel, and then obviously on the north side, coming into do they call it Grandma's house? They call every single
Yeah, Grandma's.
building. They call every single building on every single map Grandma's house. Unfortunately,
Yeah,
but yes, Grandma's house. So there, if Vanguardia runs it the way that a lot of teams run it, including Ronin, there won't be a front door push onto Chapel. They're going to try to squeeze them and try to get map control along the road. Um, and if 3AC can identify that and understand that, maybe they have a good shot. Although Vanguard has such great infantry to play against them, so it could be really
yeah,
interesting to see. In
and
Vanguard, yeah. Go. Sorry. Go ahead.
that that's the best move for Chapel as Axis as well. Take advantage of this north and south and just pincer them in. They may cap first by centering everything inside of the hard cap, but Vanguard will have control of the important parts of the map, which is that south and north housing complex, and then they're just going to push in from there.
Yeah.
And,
Absolutely. And the interesting thing for WN4 obviously is that it is also in the favor of the Allies, given the fact that the cover on that back side of the point is just it is a lot more advantageous, a lot more cover to come in versus on for the Axis side. Obviously, these are just empty fields,
Yeah,
man.
there's nothing for Axis.
Yeah.
That's that's free real estate for AC, 3AC's tanks.
So
But again, it
what do you think the push is for Vanguarda on that west side? What do you think is the maneuvers? And I think you have a privileges too if you want to edit it.
do I? Can,
Yeah, you
I
do.
think it. I don't know if you can see
I
this,
can't.
but
I saw you working it.
yeah, yeah, going into the south housing complex, just as if they were going to take Chapel, they need to bring a truck from the river here, take over this south house, and then they can machine gun straight into the hard cap and block off 3AC walking into the barns right there.
Hmm.
They can position their tank on Sunken Bridge, their medium tank rather, and they have plenty of cover to just shell the barns, or they can bring their tank in from the south as well. But really, the way you see Axis being successful on WN4 is having a successful opener. It's really hard to try and push this west-east section of the map, no matter how good of a team you are, because they have the WN4 is a fortress. It's a naturally built fortress. So again, if 3AC can play things right, I think they can stand a chance. But it really depends on how their armor and their MGs hold off Vanguarda. If they can mess up their opener, then they stand a chance for
Yeah.
WN4.
Yeah, and this is a funny enough, we were talking about Vanguard having experience with this. In addition to that, there's another team that's also had experience with this. 3AC has. I remember one of the first their pre APL scrimmage against 173rd was exactly on this, and it was exactly on WN4. They had great truck routes to the point. They played as the allies on this on that. They actually played them twice. It was kind of crazy, but um, they beat 173rd in less than 30 minutes on each time. So they had great openers getting into WM4. So this is something that they're experienced on. Obviously, I don't know if they're experienced on Chapel. I don't know if they're experienced on WN7, which we could talk about that too. We could talk about this is obviously WN7 is a point that we've already seen in APL. We saw Syndicate when they took on Glow TL. Syndicate was on the Allies and Glow TL was on the Axis. And if you remember, the original cap was in favor of Glow TL, and
Yeah,
Syndicate was able to just grind them down on that east side, going for the recap, and eventually it turned into a 5-0 over time. If the Axis, if Vanguarda could cap right off the bat, and hold for a decent amount of time to get set up, man. It's going to be very tough for 3AC to set up, but man, it is tough to push on that west side, especially since a lot of times you end up getting boxed in for the Axis, right in this right into this area right here, and specifically like even on the inside of the road as well. It just gets absolutely brutal to hold these, or push across. I mean, you're not pushing across that open field without any armor support either. You're gonna have to push in, and I know that what ends up being the emphasis too. And KO, correct me if I'm wrong, is it ends up being Vix on that northeast side, right? So if you can
yeah,
go and take that building on that northeast side, it's gonna give you a lot of advantage, a lot of ability to maneuver around the point and not just from one direction.
yeah. For WN7 Vanguard, it absolutely has to have control of those crossroads just above where you right here.
Yeah.
Gotta have control of those crossroads. This village as well is a lot more important than these newer teams realize. They need to have outposts and spawns here. A Gary if they lose WN7. Obviously, they're going to be alongside this red road for the initial. Probably have their medium tank down south over here. Although Vanguard might be sniping from way back with their tank.
you know,
But
but they're very aggressive. One thing we've seen is they play back, but at the same time, like they're not afraid to put their tanks out there. They're not afraid to push,
yeah,
especially as the Axis, they're gonna have the Luxes. I would expect them to see with their Luxes being very aggressive, pushing in. Maybe not with those PZ4s and with the later on with the Tigers, but man,
and I hope
the
they do. I hope they do with the P4 and the Luxes because they have the time in the opener to get just to like that wall in the hard cap on the west
yeah,
side.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Hmm.
double Lux watching that light red road, and the other Lux watching the main house with the P4 sitting inside as in between them. That's the way to do it. Take
Yeah.
the initial momentum on the opener. Don't hang back because Vanguarda needs to be a lot more confident in their opener against teams that they know that they're better than.
Yeah, absolutely. And so obviously Vanguarda can be at times a very aggressive team. That seems to be a trend among the South American teams. Shout out to the Brazilians and the Argentinians and all in South America, very aggressive. I remember, I don't know if you were there for the interview, but whenever we interviewed Maxi from Ronin, we asked
Ronan.
him like, is the stereotype true about
Oh yeah,
the aggressiveness from South America? He goes, 100% it is, 100% it is. And so you absolutely have to expect it. Let's talk about 3AC a little bit. This is a team that throughout the tournament, I think they're one of the most improved teams that I've seen. From the very, they were probably one of the more inexperienced teams, especially in tournament play, for Division 2, which is obviously it's really tough. It's really difficult. And by the way, shout out to McCraith. Welcome, McCraith. So good to have you, my dude. I know you're coming a little late, but we're so glad to have you, my dude.
Good to
Um,
be here, man. Great to be here.
yeah, absolutely. So what we were talking about 3AC, and 3AC obviously in the number 4 seed spot. They beat, I believe, three Foys, which is a
Ooh,
three Foys was that was their one win to
yep.
knock out the 4 seed. But they had very competitive matches against teams like Ronin, 3-2
yeah.
Yeah,
on Hurtgen Forest, and one of the things that was very critical about with 3AC was the armor play from them from the very start. I said from the very beginning, I thought that was their weakness was their armor play. And one of the things that we saw in that match against Ronin was just they took up beautiful positioning up on the hill, obviously on for the allies on uh on Hurtgen Forest. That hill is absolutely critical, but the fact that they were able to identify that's a great first step in advancing your armor play, being able to put your tanks into position, and AT guns as well. I thought that their use of AT guns on that match was absolutely appropriate, and they didn't get the win, but certainly I thought they showed a lot of improvement against a very tough Ronin team, a team that is the number 3 seed in Division 2 as well. So what are your guys' thoughts on 3AC going into this? Obviously, tough matchup for them, but
Oh
um,
yeah. I've played a little bit of pubs with the 3AC group. They're really top notch. They are really well versed on who's their infantry is. But as far as that, I've always kind of seen them somewhat lacking in armor in my personal experience. Granted, they're better than me. I'm a terrible tank. All right, but yeah, they know CQB. They excel at that. So hopefully they shine in that area tonight. Thoughts about
yeah,
UKO?
yeah. I agree. I think they're. I don't know if their armor is capable at this level. I think they've improved as a team doing this tournament. I think even the 5-0 losses was. It teaches you lessons, right?
yeah,
And
Oh yeah.
for them to grind it out against Ronin, um, that speaks a lot to me. And same with grinding out a win against three Foys. I think there's obviously a skill gap for the 75th and the Vanguarda guys, and it's going to be their toughest match for 3AC today. I don't know if they play slow, if their tanks can do some smart things, then they can put up a fight.
yeah, absolutely. So let's take a moment, and we're gonna to stop talking about we're gonna stop talking about 3AC and Vanguard. Let's go ahead while we got a little bit of a chance. Let's talk about what has been happening in APL for this weekend. So I'm gonna on the screen for those watching, obviously for KO and for McCrae, uh, the final for APL Division 1 happened today at 1 p.m. Central. Gadarian was the one who
Mhm.
streamed it. ESPT taking on Syndicate on Carentan. And guess what? ESPT took third point and never looked back. They had times where they looked like they could possibly get fourth point, but Syndicate being able to keep composure and keep it together, and ESPT grinding out a 3-2 win on Carentan over Town Center. Obviously, when we were talking the APL preview, that was the point we wanted, right? That's not the point that ESPT and Syndicate probably wanted, but for the viewer, they wanted it. KO, you were in that match, man. Kind of give us your thoughts on it. Obviously, I'm sure you're super stoked that you guys got the win, but what were your thoughts on that matchup?
Yeah. I mean, all respect to the Syndicate guys, first of all. Their infantry was top notch. I mean, it was a grind fest. I started that match, like the first 5 minutes, I was like 1 in 12, just spawning and dying. And I think I had a little bit of a respectable stat line at the end of the game, but it was an absolute grind fest. We knew it was going to be like that when we saw Town Center. Um, but I have to give a big shout out to the ESP tankers. I mean, they absolutely dominated that match and won us the game.
Good. That's something good to hear. Town Center's not a armor heavy thing because it's so CQB. You literally only have 3 main roads in there, and it's literally death holes for armor. So the fact that you hear tankers able to move in, move out, and get in the point, get a little bit of cat pressure, and still stay alive, that shows their expertise. That's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. So, shout out. So ESPT winning APL Division 1. They are now repeat champions of APL. They won season 1 of APL. Obviously, it was a new format this season, but they will be Division 1 winners. Syndicate will be the runner ups, and in third place will be GBI. GBI will be the third place finishers in that division. But let's go ahead and talk about a Division 2 matchup that ended up happening. We could actually talk about both of them. Guess what? Both of them, or I'm sorry, not both of them. Uh, the other Division 2 matchup that happened last night. It was Ronin versus 75th OG. Obviously, 75th was on the Axis side. Ronin was on the Allied side on Foy. Obviously, a lot more map advantage for 75th. On that Foy map, and for them, it ended up turning into it was streamed by Indra. If you want to go and check out that match, 3-2 win, 3-2 win for 75th. Dugout Barn was the midpoint, obviously very favorable point for them.
Yep.
Did you got any of you guys watch any thoughts on that 75th versus Ronin matchup?
Yeah,
Me
I watched.
personally,
Oh, go ahead.
I was saying, me personally, I didn't really have time to watch any of it because I was too busy getting kids to bed. But I mean, I know Ronin, they excel in tankers. I've done FNF with them. They are amazing to push point. They don't care if infantry's with them or not. They still push point and they still get results. So there's probably a VOD I'll go back watching sometime later this week.
Yeah,
So
I watched most of it up until 75th actually capped the fourth point, and it looked like they were going for
Right.
the 5. They looked like they were going for the 5-0, and then I stopped watching, so I was a little surprised to see the 3-2 score line.
Yeah. Ronin fighting
But
back
good
up
for
there.
Ronin. Yeah, good for Ronin.
Absolutely. So obviously 75th is going to play the winner of Vanguarda versus 3AC. Obviously, if it is a rematch of Vanguarda versus 75th, I pray that we get the casting assignment because that will be an absolute thrilling matchup. And if it's 3AC versus 75th, it's going to be a great matchup as well. But 75th has punched their ticket in to the final for Division 2. But Division 3 has already been set for the final. So those two matchups were I'm gonna switch screens. It's tough switching screens. I need to get my loop deck set up for that. But the two matchups were we had Lucky Strikes Mikey's Marauders as the number 2 seed going up against 10th Mountain as the number 3 seed on Foy again, and it was 10th Mountain as the Axis and Lucky Strikes Mikey's Marauders as the Allies. I think that is the upset of the week and maybe one of
yeah,
the upsets of the tournament. It was a 4-1 for 10th Mountain after Lucky Strikes Mikey's Marauders 5-0 them on Utah in the regular season. 10th Mountain getting the revenge and punching their ticket into the final. on that match. Obviously, like we talked about for the same thing for 75th versus Ronin, map advantage definitely for Merc, but I think many people, including me and XL and KO, when we were talking in the APL preview and of the semifinals, certainly thought that the talent for Lucky Strikes, Mikey's Marauders would have overcome the disadvantage on the map, and unfortunately for them, not the case, not the case at all. So, what are your thoughts on a huge upset, in
Oh
Division
yeah.
Three?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I totally did not expect that to happen with 10th Mountain taking the dub on that one. No, and this is not it's a credit to 10th Mountain to be able to do it, and also it shows you how important it is to get the map and the side and the
Yeah,
layout that you want. And that's not to take credit away from the hard work that 10th Mountain put in.
yeah.
But I think my initial prediction was I expect Lucky Strikes to win, but Axis Foy is goaded.
It is. It's so advantageous when we were interviewing Slick. We were like, man, like that's such a tough one that you guys ended
You
up
sure about that?
ending up on the map. Yeah, a little bit surprised, and I think it kind of backfired. I think sometimes you feel confident on disadvantaged side. Sometimes like you've played it a lot, you've had a lot of success on it. But at the end of the day, if it's disadvantaged, it's disadvantaged. And if people play their cards right, especially on a point like Dugout or West Bend on Foy, man, like it's so tough to push it if people know their angles and know how to play it right. Even some of the lesser infantry teams can hold out for a long
Yeah,
period of
you're
time.
you're completely right on that. And like when it comes down to it, all the comp is what team can read the situation better and quicker and adapt faster. You know, the whole military motto of adapt, overcome, survive. That's how it leads to a T every time. The moment you see like, hey, they're not pushing that hard here, shove it in their face.
Yeah.
Either send a tank there, send an armor, or send an infantry unit, put pressure wherever you can on offense. On defense, relieve as much pressure as you possibly can and keep people on offense. That's how it leads to a T. And the fact that I was kind of surprised, I wasn't really sure. I was surprised by the 4-1. I wasn't really sure who was going to get the 3-2, but that's what I expected to be a grind fest for either team. I wasn't really going to put my money on who's going to win. I thought it was going to be a 3-2, but I was genuinely surprised.
I really thought Lucky Strike Marauders had it. I really did. Even with the disadvantage, but goes to show, man, map advantage a lot. Sometimes that could turn the
Yep.
tape, and I'm kind of curious about for this matchup too, given the fact that 3AC does have the advantage on Utah. Man, it could be another showing of Lucky Strikes versus versus 10th Mountain, but at the same time, Vanguarda has just been absolutely dominant, even more dominant than Lucky Strikes. Mikey's Marauders has been throughout APL, and I think they've been one of the surprise teams of the tournament. It's been absolutely, for a team that's only been playing together for 4 or 5 months. It's been absolutely incredible
Yeah.
to watch them, and I think they're going to be such an exciting team moving forward. They're going to be a scary team moving forward after this tournament. So excited to see what they do after this. Obviously, very disappointed that they got eliminated early. Before this map flip happens, I do want to talk about the last matchup of the weekend. That was Merc versus SBSR on the
Oof.
new El Alamein. Obviously, no one expected the update to come out on Thursday, so when the map ban happened earlier in the week, did not know it was going to be basically a whole new map. So both teams had to rush, try to get new strats together. And Merc coming out on top, especially on a point that was definitely not in their favor on the Axis side. They went and took DRT right off the rip and just played through them and got a quick and easy 5-0 against SPSR. Very dominant showing. It's the second time that they've 5-0'd them in this tournament. So Merc punching their ticket into the final, and they'll be taking on 10th Mountain in the final for Division 3 with the chance to hopefully get elevated to Division 2, which I think from the very get-go before APL, and you guys tell me if you disagree, but I think Merc was definitely the favorite of Division 3 to eventually get promoted, and they've put themselves in a really good position to do that going into that final.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like they're like I was in the SBSR match, and what really happened was infantry got played 1,000%. Every way they could be outplayed, they did. Garrison placements, OP placements, positioning, gunplay, all of it. It was a bloodbath, man. We didn't have a chance, but it was a good game. They did play a fair game. It was great.
And just like that, we do have a map flip happening in about 5 seconds, so we're ready to go.
Oh shit!
Ready to go. Utah 3AC versus Vanguarda. Midpoint is Chapel. Midpoint is Chapel. Yeah, definitely. Just right off the rip, man, definitely advantage for 3AC. They need to make this truck run count. Need to make this truck run count, and we'll see if they're able to do it. We'll also see too. What's really interesting is that on a map like this, a lot of times we see like an ESPT, for example, will run 5 tanks off the rip. Obviously in a 49s, mind you, so it's a little bit different on the personnel side. But it'll be interesting to see what the tank structure is for Vanguarda. And when Ronan did this earlier against Vanguarda, they ended up running 4 tanks, I believe, maybe even 5. I can't remember for sure, but they ran a lot of tanks. I'll go ahead and show. We have the lineups for Vanguarda. I'm going to run the lineup for Vanguarda on the bottom of your screen here. But yeah, any thoughts about the setup for the tanks for Vanguarda?
I'm thinking of this point layout still. It's all over the place for both teams to try and transition from Chapel to attacking AA battery or Drowned Fields is going to be a big risk for both teams.
Yeah, absolutely. Across the board, not ideal for either team. Yeah. Especially going for that 4, so it very well may lead to more of a 3-2. So.
Yeah, this point layout is definitely made for a 3-2. It's really hard to push AA battery as axis, and Drowned Fields I would say is a little bit easier to push, but still, man.
We got about 45 seconds left, and
Vanguard are just running only 2 tanks actually, the medium and the Lux. No double Lux and no Puma for them.
Interesting. I'm sorry, we're having some technical difficulties, but we are getting it set up. Yeah, so I'm looking at the tanks right now for 3AC. We got a medium coming up of middle. We got the Stewie as well. I'm not seeing 2 Stewies yet, though.
Yeah, in a 35s like this, especially if you're not confident in your armor core, then maybe not necessary to have too many tank crews.
We're off to the races now. Chapel, midpoint, definitely in favor of 3AC. We'll see if they're able to capitalize. And Vanguarda, obviously, the highly favored for this matchup. Clear number 1 in Division 2. You can see the truck roll out. A lot of guys pushing in center. I'm not seeing 2 trucks, I'm sorry, coming up on the south side. Looks like there's going to be some truck snipes, or AT snipes as well from the trucks. AT guys on top of the trucks for 3AC.
Yep, same thing with Vanguarda. They're just taking the riverside, but 3AC is going to get into the point first.
Yep, initial cap pressure for Vanguarda. But we can see guys already rushing into the hard point for 3AC. And in fact, they're getting that cap pressure back, but Vanguarda is going to get to that south side first. 3AC a little bit collapsed a bit. And just like that, you can see Vanguarda is actually pushing guys straight onto the point. They're going to go front door.
Nice.
We got a big fight on the north side as well.
Oh, yeah, there's some bloodbath up there. People going down left and right, but
3AC are winning their initial gunfights.
Yeah.
Lux pushing
Lux.
it dead center
Yep.
onto the point. He's going to hold on that southwest side of... But he's getting hit by AT.
Track shot.
Prioritizing on a infantry truck, but still getting shot by AT. Already coming in on the backside of the point and on the church itself.
And it looks like 3AC has control of Grandma's house, but Vanguarda has clear control of the south side of the point. Medium is pushing up pretty aggressively for 3AC. He's going to look to try to get into the fight, try to get a shot up on this Stewie. Or, I'm sorry, on the Lux. You can hear the PZ4 rolling in as well. We may see a conflict here.
Yep, Stewart's decided to push in with his medium as well. Oh, great AT shot from Vanguarda on the side of the 75. Second AT shot misses.
Barely
with
misses,
Dino.
but he's hit. And despite not getting control of Grandma's house, Vanguarda still getting cap pressure.
The north side has been completely abandoned up by the sheds and everything, which is kind of interesting because you typically find a lot of flanks on that north side. South side is where they're really flanking
And
in
down
from.
goes the Lux! Medium
Nice.
for 3AC
There he
taking him out.
goes.
But even with
Yeah.
people on the hard point for 3AC, the soft cap pressure is in favor of Vanguarda. And it's going back. It's going back. But the tank is just rolling,
It is, but
rolling
the
back out.
The medium leaving the hard cap is going to give them the cap.
Yeah.
Yep. Vanguarda caps. Nice
And
job,
that's gonna be a
Vanguarda.
cap in favor of Vanguarda. They're going to make it 2-3. Deflection off the medium. Vanguarda taking
Oh.
3-2 despite only having one guy on the hard point. But clear control you can see up in the north. Vanguarda really getting a lot of control now at Grandma's house after initially losing the gunfights.
That's one thing you like to see whenever you lose gunfights, you still recover by pushing your infantry with that shift W. Because if you don't keep your offense, keep on going, then you're going to just deflate and result on defense.
3AC starting to
Oh.
cap now. They have full control of the hard cap.
Wow. And the medium's been hit. They've pushed guys to center. They've given up map control, so the question is, can Vanguarda capitalize on the territory? Artie is just raining down that south side. Down goes the medium for
Medium's
3AC. PZ4 long shot. And now armor advantage in favor of Vanguarda. Still no control of the chapel, but they have control of the soft cap, and that may just be all you need.
Yep. Cap starting to go back in favor of flickering.
Definitely not what I expected. Definitely wouldn't have expected Vanguarda to not have control of the hard point, and it's just going back and forth, very competitive from the very rip. The problem now, though, is the medium is out of the picture. They're gonna have to rush up that 76 for 3AC, because right now armor control is definitely in favor of Vanguarda.
As of right now, 3AC is only on hard cap. Vanguarda has control of almost everywhere else.
We're gonna take a look at the map.
Vanguarda already
Go
starting to come down right on top of the church now.
Oh my god, PZ4 just blanking guys on the chapel. And you could see a hard collapse by Vanguarda from the north and the south side. And the only avenue of approach right now for 3AC is up on that east side, sorry. Stewie just rushing into the point, trying to get hard cap pressure. Already on
3AC 's
church.
They have just this one
Grandiero!
outpost up, and we were trying to cover them.
Grandiero!
Nice
Shot of
one
the
hit.
time!
Loading. He's not been repositioned.
He's rotating. But down,
Nice.
Grandiero
He goes
does what
down.
he does best.
Grandiero pushing in OP spawn on the point. Grandiero
Gonna
pushing
get
it.
the OP as well. Oh,
Oh,
Artie
and it
just
goes
destroys him.
Already saves the OP
Hate to
for
see it.
3AC.
Grenadier, you've done your job, soldier. Don't worry.
He gets the Stewie, but couldn't get the OP.
Vanguard is now gaining control of that hard cap. They have collapsed pretty well, and they still have their little feelers on the map as well.
3AC
AA battery already starting to take pressure from Soldier Macedo.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Little 1v1 action here, and he's making cap progress. I wonder if 3AC will overreact to this.
And not with cap pressure in favor 3AC, getting cap pressure on third point. Vanguarda trying to push back in, but right now 3AC having really good hard cap pressure. They've expanded out south. They're still trying to get map control. Great awareness by 3AC to try to get some of the south, but currently still in favor of Vanguarda. And it's turned into a cap race that 3AC is currently winning.
3AC's back in that hard point, hard as can be.
Yeah,
Vanguarda's been knocked out. They're doing a great job of clearing that circle.
PZ4 is going to try to get hard cap pressure, and just like that, they just got cap pressured back. So the PZ4 is going to have to
get a satchel on this chapel.
Yeah.
They've done a great job. 3AC have done an absolutely excellent job of being able to maintain control of the hard cap.
And if I was in that church, I would not want to be peeking out. Oh my gosh, they are surrounded. Blitzkrieg with the AT rocket. Doesn't get anyone. Another AT rocket from Delgado. Just shelling the point with personal rockets. PZ4, they're still getting cap pressure. The 3AC getting cap pressure back despite the PZ4 just right outside the entrance of the church. Just sending his offerings in. And man, it's just right on the verge for both teams. It's incredible to watch.
Every kill counts in this fight right now.
Absolutely. Big OP spawn for Vanguarda. It's hard to leave. Just saw the 76 go down on the east side. The 76 for 3AC came in. I'm not sure what took it out, but he's
Tiger.
gone.
There's a Tiger just behind Soprano west of the Panzer IV.
Oh my
Never saw
goodness.
him coming.
Oh my goodness. Armor superiority in favor of Vanguarda. That's going to really hurt 3AC. Especially given the fact that they're only running two armor crews. And with that, I'm going to show the lineup for 3AC.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you don't drive your tank into the middle of an open field in the semifinals.
No.
Not what you're supposed to do.
Not with Vanguarda. No, absolutely
not. With Vanguarda.
But they're still getting cap pressure. Barbie Sip getting on the backside of Edwards. Holding it down. He can't get the OP, but he is killing people off of it. The PZ4 maintaining Overwatch up on that west side. The question is,
PZ4 looks like he's repositioning.
About halfway cap, we got a bombing run coming in for Vanguarda. I don't know if it's gonna. I don't think it's gonna get these guys.
No, it's gonna barely miss most of them.
And right now, here's what's really interesting. If you look at the map for 3AC, only 2 garrisons up, one south of AA and then one east of Chapel. I mean, they are literally like 1 garrison away from having no push on Chapel at all. Like, I mean,
wow,
they better cap this. Bombing run to the
garrison
takes out one.
And all of 3AC stay up.
Gary is not gone. Chapel garrison is still up.
Waste of a bombing run.
That's rough. On Vanguarda's side, they do have 6 Garys up, though. They can easily come back and not worry.
Tiger is pushing in. OP spawns, but already it's just everywhere.
They're literally in that church.
Oh, great AT shot.
Nice.
It's just shots everywhere.
Rex.
Grandiera goes down to Dr. 903. Cap progress at 3 quarters for 3AC. Are they going to recap? OP spawn! Bombing run for 3AC! Takes out a couple!
Tiger takes some damage as well.
Oh my goodness, they were just right on the verge, gone, putting a satchel on the church!
Hopefully it'll be there in time. Hopefully hold that pressure.
They don't know.
4 guys are about to go down in this chapel.
And Vanguarda starts defending once again.
They're about to eliminate the entire cap pressure.
Oh,
Satchel going down. Well. And it's gone.
Did he get
Boom goes Satchel.
He got 2, but there was a spawn wave off the OP. They're still on this point. 3A still fighting hard, but Vanguarda rushing into the west side of the point. Tiger raining shots. No garrison east of Chapel. Fighting up
Vanguarda had a
now.
transport
That's
lose
it.
on north.
That's
Vanguarda's
it.
lost their south garrison as well. They only have this close west garrison by the
Wow.
Tiger. They have
Big
nothing else close.
So there is spawn waves off on the southeast side, but Vanguarda is now officially, for the first time in this entire batch, took about 15 minutes despite doing the initial cap. They finally had Chapel. But one guy rushing in. Priest goes down in the point. And for a second here, we're going to look at kind of the wide angle here. You can see 3AC is kind of having to maneuver. They're trying to cap or take pressure from the south side after having lost the hard point.
Vanguarda
Vanguarda-
being rooted out on north as well.
Once they push up their MG and their tank, they're going to completely annihilate this 3AC spawn
Yeah.
as well. It's so hard to
Oh,
get
yep.
back in from Hill to Chapel.
And right now, 3AC
Spiker
holding their
goes down.
OPs by a thread.
3AC's got another medium up, but the tank marker is directly on him already.
Oh, they already know he's there.
Yep, they just marked him.
Vanguarda
So-
gets the garrison inside the
Oh my
chapel
gosh.
now.
Big spawn wave up an OP on the southeast side, but that medium is just holding it down.
Yep.
And the Tiger now holding up on the northwest side of Chapel.
3AC is
Cap
starting to have a
progress in
small
favor.
spearhead just south.
Oh my goodness, no garrison on double A for 3AC. Big spawn wave up the
Oh,
OP. One guy goes down, they have an OP, but Asinite the only one down. Ghana goes down to Asinite. Cap progress in favor of 3AC. There is no garrison, guys.
Airhead coming down now as well in the center of the point.
Oh my gosh.
You're kidding me.
And the
3AC,
garrison east
come
of
on.
Chapel is hot for 3AC.
The airhead is falling down right into the square trench with the spotlight. Canadian is not looking at it. The one 3AC player in the point, he doesn't know.
Butters coming up from the south. There was a massive pushback. Commander with a
Butters
supply
goes
truck.
down. They do have supplies on there, not on point, but south point. But no 3ACs there at all. They're coming in from the north. All
They
the way
gotta
back.
see
They're
this.
pulling
They
Smoking
have to
Ferret
see
and
this
Stealth.
He's
airhead
not
now.
looking! He's on dinosaur
No, they
vision!
marked
He's
it. They
not
marked
looking.
it. They marked it. They marked the airhead.
That's because Smokey found it, or Stealthy, my bad. Stealthy sees it coming in.
Cigarro's getting behind him though, he kills
They
Asinite.
strafed them.
Stealthy
They
goes
strafed
down!
them. Can Canadian respond in time?
Oh,
Cigar
they can
takes them out.
Gary coming up on the north side of AA.
They're holding.
But
They have
thing
the
is-
airhead. They're gonna get at least one spawn wave off of this.
Vanguarda's
Hippo.
got a call for smoke already on this as well.
Cigaro trying to hold north. Hippo right behind him. Von Mac right on the airhead. He's gonna try to hold this down for one spawn wave. Only two
One spawn wave comes in. And they
Hippo
immediately
goes
get
down.
wiped
Oh
that
my
first
goodness.
wave.
Oh, that was
Barrett's
great.
still up.
Artie
Smoking Ferret's
Smoke-
going to come
yep,
to
Artie
test
Smoke
it.
just coming in on the airhead now. Airhead is still up. Smoke inbound. Cigar.
They now have a Gary spawn on the north side of AA.
It looks like another spawn may happen on this airhead. Gonna be real
Smoking
close.
Ferret's
There it
gonna
is.
get on it.
Smoking
And they're-
gets two.
He drops two.
Grindero's still up.
Granadero, nice.
Gets Smoking Ferret as well.
Oh,
it
just
misses
misses
the
the
airhead.
airhead from Barbie.
Gets Grandiero, but... And here's the issue for 3AC. They've had to pull back a lot of guys, and I think that this is going to allow Vanguarda to get established on Chapel. Good luck pushing it now. Good luck.
Yeah, this is gonna take the heat off
wave
of
on the
Chapel.
airhead. AK getting two, but down it goes. Another spawn wave on this airhead. 3AC's got to do something.
Grandero's up still.
This airhead's not gonna be up for much longer.
No, it's
gonna-
not.
They'll get one more spawn wave on it at most.
Down goes Grandiero.
Has
No.
for him. He's jumping. He's gonna get it to it.
Yep. Airhead goes
And
down.
he's locking it out
Push
now.
on A's not completely
He's-
gone because they got some sort of thing built up on the south side. They have an OP.
I'm gonna go back to Chapel, but guess what? Throughout this entire process, Berlota is the only guy left on Chapel. 2 guys pushing in onto the hard point. But unfortunately, with that Tiger there, they're not gonna be able to get that cap pressure. And now they got guys going back.
And we've kind of seen a reset from Vanguarda, just the same from 3AC.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't understand, but the airhead is still up.
No way.
Yeah.
And cap
yeah.
was in
It
favor of
is still
Vanguarda
live.
again.
It has a dead American on it, and I was looking at him, and he decided not to take it out. He was locking it out instead.
76 rushing in. Already taking out 1. Is the airhead still? Is the airhead is still
76 on point. Yep.
Oh my goodness.
76 does not see Airhead. Do they
Get
even
one.
have Airhead marked? Get Dr. Rip Fritz on the Airhead by himself. And the fucking Vanguarda came in on the north side, and they
One
completely
shot.
dominated
One shot on the
everything.
rear of the 76 by Cigaro. He's gonna get a second. Gets a second.
Doesn't get the engine, but that 76 has nowhere to go.
Airhead's now gone.
But they got OP spawn, so we'll see if they're able to. They are capitalizing on this. They are capping. They are still capping. And you can see here, Soldier pushing that garrison up north. He knows where they're coming in from. May turn into a one-on-one. Soldier,
Cigaro
Malarkey.
bounces.
Soldier gets him. He's gonna get this garrison. Oh my goodness. Oh my God, already saves the garrison for 3AC.
Cigaro getting right up behind the 76. Another shot into
Another
the 76.
hit. Coat for Vanguarda is gonna push this garrison now. Big spawn wave though. Big spawn wave. Down goes Coke. 6 men on that spawn wave.
3AC making a front door push on Chapel. It's pretty big compared to the only 2 people there. Granted, their Tiger is still on point though.
They
Half cap on the
absolutely,
A battery.
they have to pull these guys off Chapel.
There's only one garrison. There's only one garrison up on double A, and Vanguarda knows exactly where it's at. 3AC playing a very dangerous game. Down goes the 76. Cigaro got him. And now cap progress still in favor. Big spawn wave up that garrison on the north. And 2 guys, Ghana's just gonna massacre them with this MG. Spiro goes down, Ghana's the only one left. And right now, 3AC, still only 2 garrisons left. And for a Division 2 matchup, this is very surprising, the garrison setup for 3AC. They've got to get established. They're playing a very dangerous game here. And Vanguarda is responding to this with already up on that garrison as well. They're just going to shell that garrison and continue to kill spawn waves.
But you have Cigaro with the Car 98 and Ghana with the MG holding back
The entire
five
fort.
to six
Yeah.
guys.
I mean, what an effort by Ghana. He is still up.
Still
Getting
suppressing
another
him. They
one.
don't. They can't get a clear spot.
AT shot in the trench.
Cigaro's gonna have more bazooka kills than he has rifle kills.
It's unbelievable.
Hey, that's a man after my own heart right there. Not gonna lie. I call it the yeet cannon for a reason.
Yeet cannon.
We got a bombing run coming in for
3AC
oh my God,
almost,
now.
has, almost
Cap
has full
record.
hard cap control
Oh my
on
goodness.
Chapel.
3AC cap
Oh.
progress.
Vanguarda still has a Gary on point though, and it's not locked out yet.
It's on that southeast side, right?
Yes.
So here's the issue. They're gonna take church, but not the garrison. You can see it. It's just right outside
Yep.
Chapel.
And once again, 3AC getting into the chapel with Vanguarda's defense kind of falling asleep at the wheel. Garrison's locked out now as well by Iqbal.
He doesn't even. He gets one.
Randy
He's
Arrows
pushing
coming
the
It
Garrison.
goes on the Garrison.
He's gonna get it. He's marked it. He's gonna get it.
Come on,
What's
Trax.
one rip off of it?
Trax goes down. Gary's
Unbelievable
down.
play,
Garrison.
XL. He goes down, but he got the Garrison. Good response on the OPs by Vanguarda, but Garrison is going on the point, and an OP spawn on the north
3AC.
side for 3AC.
Yeah, that 3AC, Gary's looking great.
Ah.
They have another spawn down southwest of the chapel. I'm not quite sure where it is, but I just saw a large spawn when come in. It might be an
It's
OP.
off of an OP. This is what's crazy. One Garrison for 3AC, and it's back on Tar Green. No Garrison on AA. No Garrison pushing Chapel. They're literally pushing off of OPs trying to get cap pressure. I mean, something's got to change for 3AC. They're holding on by a miracle, honestly. It's crazy to watch.
It's working. It's working somehow.
It's somehow working. Very back
Yeah.
and forth.
I'm looking. I see support players from 3AC. I see 3 support players, and that should be 3 Garrisons right there.
And here's what's really, I mean, the map control is just non-existent. But I would say that that's the case for either team. Like, I mean, Vanguarda has
Yeah.
a little bit better map control, but not by much. Not by
Vanguarda has a
much.
good Gary system, but other than that, their defense is just focused on routing. They have like an average of 5 guys try and ride out 3AC from the south side. That's the biggest issue. That's a little
Vanguarda
too many
and,
people, in my opinion.
G4, they're starting to push their Tiger up onto the attack, and they've got this nice, spicy H4 Garrison as well.
Guess what?
Starting to get the cap pressure again.
Ghana, the only guy on this point, literally doing the cap progress by himself. A Stewie, Butters and his crew have pushed up. At some point in time, they're going to engage this Tiger that's moved up in G4.
Vomit right on top of Stewie with Grape Ape on it. Doing reps.
And Ghana's got to be screaming to his squad leader, there's nothing here, I need support. He's in the point by himself, like this is ridiculous.
Bonmac getting 2 out of the crew. Clampet's the only one left.
Ghana's over here changing the wallpaper of AA battery. He's sitting here, free real estate and everything.
He's all by him
nothing's happening.
lonesome. There is no
This is-
Garrison for 3AC. They're having to rush back in from Tar Green. I mean,
And they're scrambling.
what is happening? This may be
I
the
got
most
it. One of
bizarre.
the strangest games.
I was
Von
just
Mac
about to
slowly
say,
taking him out
this
in
is
the-
the
on the
weirdest
way from Tar
game I've
Green.
ever seen. Ghana taking shots from probably 200 meters out as guys are coming in from the east side. I mean, Ghana.
One man
gotta
Stewie
be
that's hurt.
yelling.
Oh,
Yeah,
Stewie
no,
goes
Stewie.
down.
I mean, he has
And-
no support. Ghana is the only one capping this right now. And
They're bringing
3AC
the supply
can't push him.
No, they're running through open fields.
They're taking a
And
supply
Tiger,
truck on the north
you can see that
side.
Tiger south of the point. He's going to start launching shots as guys come in. Finally getting a little bit of support here. Supply truck for the commander now on the north side. I mean,
Yeah.
this guy is literally about to put... I was about to say he was going to put a Garrison in the same spot, but... Oh my
Tiger
goodness.
sees him. Tiger
almost got
sees
him.
him.
Oh, he
No.
goes
Oh,
down.
and he got
Oh,
shot
yeah.
out. Down goes the transfer of Gary. They're still running across this open field. That's
And
that's
Vanguarda
rough.
finally getting guys in, but Ghana, literally the savior of this point, and the Tiger as well. That crew is run by Neto.
You got these guys crawling through the open fields. Oh
Literally.
my lord.
The Garrison spawns is just an issue for 3AC. Bombing run now for Vanguarda. Just gonna finish him off.
Just
It's
a
just icing on
guarantee.
the cake. And your Tar Green, just the next point.
Yeah, Vanguard is just gonna walk right in with the Tiger now.
So 3AC finally getting garrisons. They now have 3 garrisons set up all along the eye line, but that's it. That is literally it. I mean, a little too late. Tiger now on the point for Tar Green.
3AC bringing up a 76, but it's already been marked by Vanguarda.
Oh my goodness.
It's a shame, man. 3AC, their opening was fantastic.
It was
They
beautiful.
were really holding their own against Vanguarda, and their own, failures to do the basics, build freaking garrisons. has put them in a terrible situation.
TC Butters is on his feet on tar green. No tank with him.
Holding it down.
Gotta wonder what his strat's going on.
Vanguarda is not holding it. They are going
They're
to
not
push
slowing.
5th point. They're going to push 5th point. They're like, let this bizarre match end. I mean, I'm
3C
Kale, I'm
struggling,
serious.
coming all the way
This is-
from mid HQ.
Oh my gosh. And
Tiger's moving up now as well. They're looking at
And
that
they're-
76.
3AC all the way down here on
gets
hill.
a shot.
One hit on
G6.
76!
Got a
He's
hit.
not looking!
He's got his ass to him.
Oh my lord.
And I forgot to
Second shot.
mark it. Sorry, forgot to mark it 4-1 for Vanguarda. Gets a hit
76
back
with
on
one
the
shot
Tiger,
off.
but
And
Down
there you go.
76 goes down.
down he goes. Neto and his crew getting that 76. Armor dominant still for Vanguarda.
3AC trying to do a large southern push from freaking Red Hill or
Yeah,
and Red House
and
in.
that garrison is already marked from Vanguarda as well. Their marks have been on point.
And right now, 3AC trying to establish their line on the point. I mean, at this rate, with Vanguarda pushing down their front door, literally in their throat, it's gonna be very hard for 3AC to get anything going. They're gonna have to do something creative to get into position. Vanguarda finally getting a little bit settled. They take the house complex south of AA to establish map control. But right now, I mean, they're still in a tough spot. Really tough spot.
The Ronin Vanguarda match on Utah was over at this point in time already. That's what's blowing my mind.
3AC lasting longer than Ronin. I mean, now granted,
Interesting.
they are the allies, so a little bit map favor, but
Tiger's by himself all the way north. He has perfect sightline all the way into this point.
He hasn't even
HE
bothered
sees
to
him.
repair yet either.
no, why
He
not?
doesn't
Why?
care.
Why? They have the armor dominance. They don't have to worry about it. And Vanguarda pushing into the south side of the point. Milagre takes out Jordan, and just like that, they are pushing into the circle. OPs are lighting up on the point for 3AC.
Echo Roots, the STG, first man in the point.
Yep.
That's not who you want to face in the trenches.
No. Malarkey right on the other side of him. He knows his OP's hot, too. Echo doesn't see him yet. Already taking out Malarkey! And now they have started to cap. Cap progress in favor of...
Sheep,
Cap
you're
progress
back.
in favor of Vanguarda. Yep. We're still streaming. We're still streaming.
We're still alive.
We're still alive, so cap progress still in favor.
Starting to
Echo
actually
has
get
the satchel
progress.
down.
Nice.
Satchel goes up and kills
That's-
Malarkey.
Kills both of them, but they're gonna continue cap
Oh.
progress.
That's the outpost.
They found Gary. They
Dude,
found
look
Gary.
at this.
Brandon Arrow. Oh.
One blitzkrieg, taking out a bunch, only two surviving. Coke and Echo pushing the garrison now. This may do it. Can they
Cat
get
and
the garrison?
Hypothesis is the only one there.
Echo's gonna go in the bunker and annihilate them. There's
Gets
one.
one.
Down. Two
There's
down.
two.
Gary's
Two.
locked.
So no HQ, no garrison now for 3AC. They got a garrison south, but that's it. Cap progress already in favor of Vanguarda. This may do it. 56 minutes left in the match. Coke gets the garrison. Spawn wave up the OP. No one in sight for 3AC.
All the way down.
Yeah,
Big
like what?
spawn
Two.
wave south.
That's
And
all
the-
they have.
It's
Soft
gotta be
400
cap
late.
meters away.
Oh my gosh,
It's gotta
soft
be
cap.
too late.
Soft cap for 3AC. Down goes a tank.
This is the most wild match I've ever watched. There's the
Was
whole
that
entire
it?
team.
Was that a 3AC tank? Or was that it was a 3AC tank and pushed very aggressively. A medium got taken out by the Tiger. Literally behind him. Holding Overwatch on that north side. And they're gonna make
All
a
of
desperation
3AC
push for
pushing.
3AC.
That Tiger's now moved in. He has a repair point right next to him. He's living there.
It's like a pub match. It's like watching them
I
fight
don't
bad.
know what
This
to
is
say. I don't know what to say. What is happening?
This is definitely not second Tiger on the tar green.
Oh my gosh.
That's gonna be a wrap for 3AC. There's no way they can break their line and then take out both their Tigers who have Overwatch.
And Koch is on the beach shooting
Yeah,
them in
I
the
just
back.
saw that. He just saw he's just gonna get
Oh
guys
no.
on the angle. I mean, they're dropping supplies, but I mean, ain't gonna do nothing. That's in favor. Big spawn wave again. I mean, maybe soft cap, but it looks like Vanguarda
Looks like
has
Colonel
this.
Neckbeard is trying to make a run for the Stewie from mid
3AC
HQ.
bombing run coming in. And they are contesting.
And then
Come on,
Again,
not
it
sure where he got
doesn't
the
come on.
info. Not a
Get it,
great bombing
3AC.
run.
Get it,
One
3AC.
kill.
They're getting it back. Oh my gosh. 2 Tigers on the point, and they're still getting it back.
Wow.
With a reinforce, though, and that reinforce is just about to end.
The Gary that
Airhead
Vanguarda
for
had is now
Vanguarda.
gone.
Airhead for Vanguarda.
Yep.
And now it's back in favor of Vanguarda with that reinforce being over. And we see what Vanguarda does best a lot of times. Gets shot by the Stewie? He got the Stewie at the solo, he's getting shots!
I told you he was. That's Colonel Neckbeard
Oh
making
my
on
gosh,
his way
he's
all the way
just getting
there.
multiple shots! Can he get a
All he
tank?
can do is he's just tracking them.
He's
That's all
just
he
hitting
can
the
do.
tracks, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Still, it's
play-
turning their attention away from that infantry push. They
He
don't
still
know
doesn't
where
see
he's
him,
at.
He doesn't see him.
It's over.
That's it.
That's insane, guys.
What did I just watch?
What?
What did I just watch?
Wow.
I just don't understand.
I'm so speechless, man. I've never seen.
I don't
A
understand
team.
what I just watched.
Oh no! Why did 3AC not have enough Garys? It's like they literally just thought that was a side effect of Hell It Loose, not a primary objective. Vanguarda, I admit, their defense was lacking there for the most part, but they had a Gary
they had
network
it.
to support it.
They had it. They had the chapel over and
That
over
is
again.
the wildest match I've ever casted in my casting career. By far, the weirdest, craziest match that I've ever cast. I mean, where do you start? Where do you start with that? I mean, let's start out with the opener, right? Just, I mean, 3AC, you know, a little bit collapsed, right? So Vanguarda takes the south, but they take Grandma's house. They take the hard point. I mean, like, and they didn't get the cap, but they were there. They were there. They had great cap progress at points. I mean, in some ways, you're looking at it, you're like, man, 3AC has a shot here.
Yeah.
But then I look at the map, and the garrison system is just
Is
non-existent. It's non-existent for 3AC. I try not.
Vanguarda literally started that offense. Gary in the north, the south, one on their defensive point, one straight in the front door, and another 2 to supplement. They had 6 to 7 Garys up in the first 10 to 15 minutes.
You know, I try not to criticize teams when I'm casting. I try to play it very fairly. It's just the wildest match. And Vanguarda, like, not really having map control for a lot of it. I mean, they're taking a 4th point. Was just.
It was Ghana.
It was Ghana. The weirdest in a comp match. You never see this. You never see this kind of thing happen. I mean, this is literally pub action going on in a not just in APL. This is a playoff match in Division 2. Vanguarda is a team that is fighting to be considered one of the top teams in APL. They're fighting to be, you know, a staple in Division 1 right now. And the garrison system obviously really good for Vanguarda, but like, my goodness, like I
mean the tanks were great for Vanguarda. The
yes,
but like their defense was awful. It was just the fact that their
They had
shooters
Garys and
were
shooters that
better.
they won the gameplay, and they had Garys to support it. So when you went down, they had somewhere to go. 3AC, when they went down, they had two options, and they weren't good. I mean, their Gary placement wasn't wrong. It's just it's Chapel.
Non-existent. Non-existent. I mean, and 3AC for the whole time that they were holding second, they were getting decent pushes onto the point, but but when their guys were going back,
no Gary made nothing.
I mean, Ghana,
especially when they're on the west side of Chapel, Vanguarda didn't know where they were. They could have had a Gary there and could have capitalized, but they didn't read that.
Who was the AT guy for Vanguarda who was holding it down on that with Ghana? Who's that guy?
It wasn't
Cigaro.
Cigaro.
Yeah.
And Ghana holding down the entire push for 3AC from that garrison. Part of that is a failure of garrison placement, and part of that is just a failure to put down garrisons from multiple angles. I mean, I don't understand. Ghana is the only one holding the point down as guys are rushing in from the only garrison on the point, which is Tar Green. I mean, like on the map, the only garrison was Tar Green. And they're pushing across the open field trying to get in. Now, mind you, they tried to get a garrison up. Wolfie as the commander running into that supply truck, narrowly getting hit by a Tiger, but ends up getting hit by infantry and gets knocked out of that truck. I mean, I mean, I don't know. I've never seen a match like that. Never casted a match like that. It felt like a pub match. Crazy.
It literally felt like a comp match was playing a bunch of randos. Not necessarily a pub match itself, because otherwise you'd see both behaviors on both sides. Vanguarda showed up. 3AC didn't.
Well, Ronin lasted a shorter amount of time on the same map than 3AC did. I mean,
yeah.
And it's a shame because 3AC looked so promising. They looked like they were completely, fooling all of us, going against what we all expected to happen initially. Mm-hmm. They had that. They had a fight in them. And if they would have capped Chapel, who knows? They could have done something more with it.
And Vanguarda
failing on the foundational. They're failing on the basics.
Yeah. And Vanguarda did something that doesn't normally happen on Chapel from the Axis side. They push guys front door into Chapel. We talked about that in the strat sketch before the match even started. That's very atypical. That wasn't expected. They pushed about 3 or 4 guys up into the front of the Chapel, and guess what? They freaking held that Chapel down against those guys. They were winning gunfights. This is not what we expected from 3AC. They won gunfights. They didn't win on the south, but they won on the north, and they won on the point. And despite losing in the soft cap pressure, they continue to hold on for a solid 15, 20 minutes on the hard point. I mean, what? So with that being said, despite our crazy recap of it, Vanguarda is going to be moving on. They are the winners of this match. They are the winners of the semifinal match. They will be going on and facing in a rematch 75th OG in the final Division 2, a chance to move up to Division 1. 75th, I think, was the favorites going into Division 2 in the preseason of APL Season 2. And Vanguarda has been just absolutely dominant. Honestly, this is the weakest performance I've seen by Vanguarda. That being said, they beat 5-0.
They still 5-0.
They still won 5-0. I mean, obviously this is gonna, for Vanguarda, great garrison placement, map control left a little bit to be desired, response time left a little bit to be desired. But I mean, then again, you can't hardly argue or complain when you got a couple guys who can hold down an entire defensive force, and at the same and as usual, their tanks just coordinated super well and won. I mean, virtually every single tank battle. So
yeah, that initial that 76 rolling through the open field into Chapel and getting slammed.
That was a bad move.
That sucked. That was not good.
Yeah.
Granted, he didn't have any pings on that Tiger, but still.
You
Coming
know they're
from a-
tiger. If you're in your 76, you know they're Tiger 7.
Yeah.
You gotta
Yeah.
you gotta play it
100%.
safe until you get your second heavy up. For
Especially
sure.
if you know the Lux went down, you no excuse.
Yeah.
You should have played safe. Should have fucking watched where you're approaching from. But no, they just put it in fourth gear and hooked it right into that open field. And Tiger's like, all right, hello.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Congratulations to Vanguarda. I mean, it's what we expected. I will agree with Sheep. It was probably their weakest performance that I've watched. 75th is going to have a lot to say to them in the finals. And
Yeah.
commiserations to 3AC. You guys were looking great. Just get those basics down, and you'll come back a much stronger team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Literally
think,
just get a Jerry system.
I-
You'll ooh.
I wonder if Vanguarda. I'll close this out with this thought. I wonder if the reason why Vanguarda played the way they did was they were thrown off by the way the 3AC was able to continue to hold Chapel. I mean, if you KO, as a guy who's super experienced in comp, especially on and having played Chapel against some of the best teams in the world, man, you got to think that like with no guys in Chapel, the fact that you're capping Chapel would probably confuse the crap out of you, wouldn't it? I mean, I would think that that would be absolutely staggering. I mean,
Yeah.
just to win the point by soft cap pressure.
Yeah. Absolutely insane.
Well, that will do it for us. Obviously, you'll probably see us back on next weekend. Hopefully, we get. I would hope. I mean, there's only two matchups for APL, and I hope we get one of them, especially 75th versus Vanguarda. I really hope we get that one. It would be absolutely a pleasure to cast it. I'm Sheepdog, with me McCraith and Kayanashi. We appreciate you joining us. If you like the content, feel free to hit us up in Discord. Join our Discord so you get those notification links. If you really, really liked it, we are not affiliate, we are not partner, because we want it to be as ad-free of an experience as possible. We want the viewing experience to be as clear as possible. So if you do like our content, feel free to give us a donation in our donation link below. And as always, thank you for joining us. And we will be throwing it to a random Hell Let Loose caster. So thank you so much and have a fantastic night.